Well, good morning, community. Good morning, both professional and people out there, because this show will resonate with you on a professional level and also a personal level, impact your life. My guest today is an amazing man. I mean, just amazing. It's hard not to be newer in the industry and being newer in doing this, and to have a man of his caliber on my show. It's hard not to get tortured, honestly. But I want this man. His name is Scott Schilling. He is an executive coach. He is a trainer, an international speaker. He is an expert in communications. He is an owner of Schilling Sales and Marketing Incorporated. And I'm just speak out from heart. I've done research on this man. You talk about wanting to impact the world. This man has impacted friends like Les Brown. I mean, a friend of Les Brown's. But we're going to find out some very pivotal questions. We're going to find out what makes him tick. So let's get right into it. We only have 30 minutes. I want to get right into it. So let me play this intro and we'll get right into it.
The Stroke of Genius podcast, hosted by brain aneurysm and stroke survivor Aaron Avila, sharing the experiences of survivors and CEOs. This is your destination for inspiration.
Well, good morning, Mr. Scott Schilling.
Hey, Aaron, how are you? Thanks for the opportunity to share with your audience.
You're very welcome. It's my honor and my pleasure. I'm just so amazed. I'm going to ask you a couple questions, but the one I'm going to modify just a little bit. But let's get right into it because it's only a 30-minute podcast. And if you're out there watching in the audience, so there are guarantees I don't go over because Vivi, like who's here, Scott? I don't know. You know Vivian King.
Hey, Vivian, how are you?
She's part of the C-suite network. Jeff Hazel, C-suite network. She's also a stroke survivor. And before I get into my questions for you, I want to tell people how we are similar now. That you also have cerebral stroke. Tell us a little about that, if you would, please.
Yeah, back in 2014, I was going to a speaking event and was rushing out to my SUV, balanced a box of books on my knee, flipped open the back hatch, ducked underneath it to put the books in the back, and the back hatch came down and smacked me in the back of the head and cold cocked me. Well, as a guy, I didn't do anything about it. I had a headache for 8 days. They called that a clue. 8 days later, I was walking along after doing an infomercial shoot out in LA, and we were going to lunch, and all of a sudden I'm walking, and all of a sudden I wasn't walking. My legs stopped, and I was standing on two tingling stumps, and I was cold, I was clammy, I was gray, I was sweating profusely, got disoriented, started to fall back, grabbed a railing. One of the 7 people I was walking with came up to me and threw a chair underneath me to support me. Thankfully, I was walking with 7 people, 3 of them doctors. Coincidence? I think not.
I think not.
Basically, I was in the middle of a full-blown cerebellar stroke. And to give the short relationship to it all, basically, I dissected the pica in my brain. And 8 days after the event, I threw the stroke. By the grace of God, I come away like this. And so I, too, am a stroke survivor, and I want to do everything I can to help educate and share the message with folks.
This really, and we're going to do another show. We get more into your stroke survival nature. And this is really, this podcast, Executive Experience, really is committed to me sharing you with the executives. But how to share your stroke experience, because we are bound together. We are brothers. We are brothers bound by a force greater than any force I've seen on earth. And that's stroke survival. There's so much
Absolutely.
more energy there. Right? There's not much more powerful energy because anyway, but what is amazing to me and inspiration to me is that you're a stroke survivor. You're impacting millions of people's lives around the world in your stroke survivor. I can do the same thing. And you inspire me just by you doing what you're doing. Not that I'm going to be able to do what you do and help people.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's what it really all comes down to. You utilize the talents and capabilities God's granted you, along with the circumstances that you've experienced and lived through. And we all have the opportunity to positively impact the lives of every other body that's on this planet. It's not a question of whether you have the story or the ability or the talent to do it. Everybody does. You certainly do. Aaron, you're an inspiration, what you're doing here with Stroke TV. But the reality is, it becomes the decision you make to say, I am going to do what I can do to positively impact lives on this planet. And I hearken back to Mother Teresa, who has a great quote: if you can't feed 100, feed one. The reality is, it's that simple. Could you make a positive impact in the life of at least one person on this planet? You know the answer to that. So do I. Well, the reality is, if you make the decision to do that, what you don't know is if that's the one person that could go on to impact billions. So anything that you can add to the goodness of the planet, kudos. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah, Ben, yeah, man, so true. And I think what I really want to focus on is the comment you just made. What changed could change everybody's life up there. That is a decision. That everything that you've done, everything that I have done, thank you for doing that. But I think we started with a decision. You decided not to let stroke, and I remember our conversation before. You decided not to let stroke to end your life, like many do, but you chose to use it as a tool of God. And for me, same way, bro. Same way, Scott. God has chosen to use stroke and the brain aneurysm in life, my life as tools. But I wanted to say, you said decision. Everybody has me, a gift of helping other people in this. So, could you elaborate what you mean by that? What does it mean, decision? What does it mean?
Well, decision actually comes from the Latin word decidere, or to cut off. So the reality is, when you make a decision, you cut off another possibility. And so you can decide to, it's not the events in our lives that create the outcomes of our lives. It's the events plus the response to those events that determines the outcome. You and I, we have both had a stroke. Okay, that's the event. Uh, it's the response to it. Do you curl up and go, oh my God, I'm not going to move forward from this? Or do you make the decision that says, you know what, as you said, I'm going to utilize this as a tool to communicate from a different place? So when we make a decision, everything in life begins with a decision. You have to cut off a different choice. And it all becomes dependent upon the choice you make. Well, for me, because of the mentors I've surrounded myself, because of what I've chosen to learn, my mentors have instilled in me that I am infinitely capable, as are you. And it's because of our strength in Christ. It's because our strength in our faith and our belief that we can basically choose which side of a definition. There's one definition that works for two words. Confidence in the unseen, assurance of the unknown is the definition of fear, but it's also the definition of faith. Fear is the belief in the negative happening, although it is yet to happen. Faith is the belief in the positive happening, although it is yet to happen. I choose faith.
Right on. I do too. I think, and there's no other choice. I'm going to pause for a minute, give some shout outs to the audience members that are so kind to be here. So, of course, got Vivian King. We got DRA, which I don't know what that sounds like, what that stands for. Do you know?
What was it again?
DRA Raquel Rubin says hello. I don't. Again, these are some LinkedIn contacts of mine.
Got it. Oh, sorry. I thought I was you were asking us, but no, just blessed to be able to sharing with everybody here today.
We also give a shout out to Gail Johnson, who is out there watching us. Thank you for being on the Gil. We appreciate it. We got Cheryl Patterson and Niagara Falls. Good sister of mine. Thank you. I just want to give a shout out, let everybody know if you have a question for me or Mr. Schilling. Sorry, I got Miss Schilling. But Scott Schilling, if you have a question, you mean it too, Scott. You know that. Please put it in chat and I'll bring it up on the screen and we'll answer it for you. This is a fully immersive, interactive show. We don't want to, Scott and I don't want to talk at you. We want to talk with you. We're here to impact your life. And Scott, you were just commenting on a comment. Saying something about something, triggered a quote. And that quote came down to Henry Ford quote that says, whether you believe you can or think you can, I think you can, you mean it. But they're correct.
Yeah, Henry Ford said in 1939, think you can, think you can't, you're right either way. It's really what you again, that's a decision. That's a choice. The reality is there are many, every day we're facing many decisions and many choices. I purposely language differently than most people do. I say something is positive or something is less than positive. I don't even say that other word.
Yeah.
I've taken it out of my vocabulary. Why do I do that? Because I want to stay in that other place of positivity. And so again, I choose faith in that definition. I choose not to go towards fear. Fear is something where we have to stop where we are today and we have to move into an imagined future that is yet to happen. I mean, if you're afraid of a snake, you have to stop, and there's no snake in front of you. You have to stop where you are today, get into an imaginary place in the future, say that snake is going to do something of harm to you. That's all manufactured in your own mind. So the reality is, this is about having to make that decision. I choose faith. I choose that God's plan and timing is perfect. As an example, you can't say God's plan and timing is perfect and I shouldn't have had a stroke. You can believe one or the other, but you can't believe both. So I choose God's plan and timing is perfect. Now, do I understand why I went through what I went through? No idea. Do I understand why you've gone through what you've gone through? No idea. That's the part that if I understand that God's plan and timing, then I can have the confidence to now utilize that experience to be of service to more people. It's not whether it's right or not right. It's a matter of God put it here. What did he put it here for? wow, I can use this to positively impact other people. Just as what you're doing with this show and the other shows you have here on Stroke TV. I congratulate you for stepping into it in that way.
Well, I really coming from youth one another, really one another. But I think it comes from what you just said, and I really feel led to bring this out again. That it's a decision, and everybody has it. Everybody, and I like you probably believe that everybody in the face of earth has been given a gift. And they can either decide to exercise it and express it or not. And what happens is the enemy, if you want to call the enemy, that our own self puts us in the box, says you can't do this. You can't do that. You can't influence millions of people's lives. But the actual truth is there is no box to this life. There's no box. There's no limitation what any of us as human beings can accomplish.
Well, I say I'm pretty trained up and pretty good at a lot of stuff, but I'm terrible at one thing, reading minds. And so I can't tell you if what I say is going to have an impact on you. So I work through a concept of high intention, low attachment. High intention of imparting something good every single time for everybody who hears it. And a low attachment as to what that particular thing is or who it was for. In other words, if we live from high intention of making the world a better place, making our relationships stronger, doing quality business, having a great show here today, being of service to a single individual, those are all high intentions. And if those are our intentions and that comes from our heart, that's what gets felt by others. And they now have the opportunity to get into a similar experience with us. And it's through that experience that they can now be more fulfilled or gain the courage necessary to take an action or whatever the case might be. Again, I congratulate you for taking what has been given to you in life and utilizing it to show so many that, as you said, there are no limitations except in this 6-inch space.
Right, right, right. Scott, I gotta tell you, I feel like I've cheated. I appreciate you complimenting me, but in our reality, my brain aneurysm and my stroke were the tools of God. My biggest life changer I had was a near-death experience. That really was my life changer, and made me realize there's far more to this life than what you see right here on the screen, what you see in your daily life, what you drive, what you fly in. Those are all temporary, but real, long lasting, forever eternity is what my near death experience opened my eyes up to. And, I want our audience out there to realize that Scott and I are no different than you. You can inspire, and like God just said, start helping just one person. You were designed to. You were meant to be a community and meant to be social. You were designed to be great. And Scott is here with me telling, I know he agrees, that you are here to do something for this world. And only you can do it. So step up. It's you. It's not about Scott and I, it's about you.
I totally agree with you. The reality is we each have our role to play. You wouldn't be here at this time on earth with all the things that are going on. Heck, there's more opportunity to have a positive impact today than I think ever in at least my lifetime, right? Why is that true? Because there's so much division. We're at polar opposites. Nothing gets done at polar opposites. We need to come together, or we need to focus on something else that we can do good with. I mean, the reality is, you make the decision to be as good a person as you choose to be as nice a person as you choose to be as helpful a person as you choose to be, all under your control. Control the things that you can control, and the things that you can't control are going to happen anyway.
So true. This world, I am telling you, I believe, Sean, that every human being on the face of this planet has a purpose. And I can honestly tell you what I believe the purpose is to help one other human being. And I think we got the entire world. It goes back to that Beatles song. All we need is love. I just think that's the stupidest thing to say. Oh, you're so hippie to say all you need is love. But now, mine's have been opened. All you need is love, brother. That's it. That's all we need. We just need to love our fellow man.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's a mic drop moment right there.
Yeah. Well, we're here part of the need business too. Tell me, what is your declaration and why is it important? And you come, first of all, introduce your company, what it is you do.
Well, Schilling Sales and Marketing is basically a sales and marketing organization, but it's also a training organization. I'm a speaker, a trainer, a coach, an author, a consultant. It just means I've done a lot of different things over my career. But my declaration that, quite frankly, I made to God was, I'm only going to do three things the rest of my life. I'm going to share messages of hope and inspiration. I'm going to teach and train others to do the same. And I'm going to build a worldwide global community full of people with respect, honor, and dignity for all. See, I think that's one of the things that we've lost in our society today. Respect is how I treat you or how I treat another. Honor is how I lift them up and honor them for their accomplishments or efforts. And dignity is ultimately the feeling we both experience if I've done the first two appropriately. And so for me, it's about sharing messages of hope and inspiration. I mean, again, not to go back to the stroke, but to go there for a second. Because I came away from my stroke without disabilities and without deficiencies, there was some survivor guilt in the beginning, because it's like, why does somebody else, why are they different than me? Well, again, I had to clear that and say, God, thank you for the warning shot across the bow, but allowing me to now go do what I've declared I'm going to do. And so part of this is the declaration of sharing hope and inspiration, is recognizing that everybody is valuable and everybody has the possibility to make a positive impact. Again, it comes down to decision and choice. The teaching and training others to do the same is, well, I'm a sales trainer. I'm a sales guy, but I'm also a sales trainer. I'm a business trainer. I am a life trainer. I've had a near-death experience. Again, there's not a lot of people on the planet that have done that. So that's part of the teaching and training others to share messages of hope and inspiration and lift people up. And then it really is about putting the message out about building a community of people with a desire to reinstill respect, honor, and dignity to the planet. I mean, we were born to love each other. You already said it. There's, there were 10 commandments, but there were really two. There were 2 plus 8. The one is love God with all your heart. The second is love your neighbor as thyself. It was love and love. That's it. And the commandment was really follow me. It was be a living example. It was do great things. Well, for me, that is sharing messages of hope and inspiration, teaching and training others to do the same, and building a worldwide community full of people with respect, honor, and dignity for all. Wouldn't the world be more fun if everybody respected and honored each other as opposed to yelling at each other and doing other nefarious things? I think so. That's my goal. That's my goal.
Yeah, I can only agree and almost want, what a different world we would have if everybody honored and had respect for each other, and they need love.
Yep.
And Scott, I want to know, and I want to encourage everybody out there, if you don't know who Scott Schilling is, go to YouTube, type in the word Scott Schilling. Who is Scott Schilling? And you, like me, will come up pages of pages of pages. This man has seen the world, has seen his impacted. I love for what you do. You inspire me.
Thank you.
But what you being the great inspirer of many, what inspires Scott Schilling? Why do you do what you do? What gets you going doing what you do?
Well, it's interesting. When I was still in high school, I read "See You at the Top" by Zig Ziglar, and there was a quote in that book that forever changed my life. It became my life creed. It became my mantra, and that is, you can have everything in life you want when you help enough other people get what they want. It just made so much sense to me that we were positioned in a place of servant leadership, that we could lift each other up, that we could do so much more. And when we did that, we could have everything we wanted. And so for me, it's, I like nice things. I like material things and all that. But you know what? Been there, done that. It's not as fulfilling as to see somebody accomplish a great goal, or to participate in somebody's success, or to, again, honor or lift somebody along the way. So what gets me fired up is the opportunity to make a positive impact. I mean, it's really 3 things for me. My why is to contribute to the planet. How I do that is by finding better ways to accomplish it. And the net result of that is we create trusting relationships that we can go on and do this together for a long, long time. If I say I'm going to do something, then it's going to be done. So that's what fires me up, is how do I contribute? How do I, in fact, find better ways? And how do we do that in a trusting relationship?
Yeah, man. And people, Scott, it is amazing to realize that we can have an impact and change someone's life for the better. That to me is just it's beyond the Rolls Royce Phantom, it's beyond the big, huge mansion, the energy of hope, the energy of love. Because I believe life is too. I'll take this entire planet and I'll done 2 things: positive energy, negative energy. There's only 2. I just run and put into 2 categories: life on Earth, and I like you choose to impact life in a positive way. But
Totally agree.
I want you to think. I want to bring you. I want to also tell people about your book. You're an author. Tell people about your book.
My latest book is called That Sucks. What Now? Real World Solutions for Getting Through What You're Going Through. And this all came about. First of all, I don't normally talk like that, but somebody said, "Gosh, Scott, I was writing the book and I hadn't had the title." And I started telling friends about all the different things, the challenges that I was up against throughout my life, and how I got through them and the lessons that I learned by doing that. And my friend said, "I never knew that you've been through that much stuff." And I said, "Well, you don't wear all your butt kickings on your sleeve." And he goes, "Yeah, but you fought through them all. What did you say to yourself when they happened?" I went, "That sucks. What now?" He goes, "What a great title for the book." I said, "What are you talking about? I don't talk that way." He goes, but I know you mean that in a positive way." And I said, "Well, actually I do. That sucks. I wish it wouldn't have happened that way. What now? No time to sit around and wallow in it. Time to go out and fix it." And so as a matter of fact is, one of the reasons I wrote it is when I got out of the hospital, when I got out of intensive care, I Googled, how long do I have to wait before I go back on stage and speak? And the first thing that popped up was most people lose their ability to speak. And so therefore, because they lose that ability to speak, they never regain their ability to go back on stage. Well, that wasn't the answer I wanted to read. And so I said, well, okay, let me Google something else. How long will it take before I can drive a car again? And it said many people lose their physical attributes in being able to control their body function. So therefore, many people never drive a car again. Wait a second, that's not what I wanted to see. And so what I realized is I was learning lessons that if anybody came through a cerebellar stroke like I did, I wanted them to have better information and better choices. That's why the title is That Sucks, What Now? Real world solutions for getting through what you're going through. It's not as much about the events as it is about the lessons learned and the various solutions that you can put in place to serve you going forward. One of the reviews of the book is, "This is absolutely the most positive book I've ever read in my life, not what I thought I was going to get." I'm really happy about that, right? In other words, they didn't know what to expect. And so again, what I want to do is I want to convey the things that I've discovered in my career. I've been doing this for a while. I've done over 3,000 live events as a speaker on stage. When you do 3,000 live events, you learn some lessons. So I can share those lessons, and I've done that through this book. tswnbook.com. I encourage you, please reach out and get the book, because what you'll find is something I can guarantee you'll find something that will serve you going forward.
Really great. That is, I'm excited to get my copy of that. But I want, we're down to the last minute of the
Right.
show. But if there's one thing I want to leave people with today, I want you to look at me. I also had a cerebral stroke, just like Scott. Scott and I Scott is better than me as far as physically. It's just how God has chosen to use our lives. And I'm going to say one thing. Your life is 10% what happens to you. I must repeat that one time. Your life is 10% what happened to you. It is 90% of how you respond. And that's one thing that you take away from scouting talk, and realize that you're not a victim, or our life is not just rolling over you. You are responding to your life. You control your destiny. You're in control. Scott, I am so look forward to having you on again and be hopefully dig deeper into what makes you tick. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, and thank you for the honor of being here. And congratulations on what you're doing, because you are a true inspiration. Keep doing it.
I really appreciate that, Scott. Coming from you, that is an honor. Thank you. But let's leave with people. What are the ways they can get hold of you? What are the social media platforms they should, if they want to ask questions and get hold of you, how they do?
I'll make it really easy. I don't hide very well. My email is scott@scottschilling.com. Website, scottschillingspeaks.com. Again, the book, tswnbook.com. Just reach out if you have any questions, if you want to comment. I love talking to people. I love doing shows. I have my own show, and obviously, we want to get out those messages of hope and inspiration. If I can be of service to you, please reach out.
I want to go for a couple minutes because I had the honor of being on the show. Let's make a mention because it is show worthy mentioning. And I want people, if you don't know the show, watch it. It's amazing because it really is hope of inspiration. What is the name of your show, and when does it air, and when can people see it?
The name of the show is Champions of Inspiration. So again, we tell the untold or undertold story. We want to get information out that you need to know. It is available on BingeNetworks.tv. You can reach it. There are shows available through scottschillingspeaks.com. I record and go live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Central Time. But then you can always catch the replays, and we go out over 100 networks. So again, please reach out to me, scott@scottschilling.com, and I'll send you the links. Well, especially the one to the show with you, because it was awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was on Scott's show, and it was amazing. And Champions of Inspiration really is just that. It's not about Scott. It's about his guests. And you out there, and I'm proud of you, audience. You out there are the champions of inspiration. You are the reason we do what we do. And I really thank you, Scott, for being my show today. It was an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll see you all soon.
All right, bye.
Set me on fire.